Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It's Monday Night Live. It's going to be a Skype show, but let's start off. Romelu Lukaku has avoided a ban. This is the big news today, and Jose Mourinho is ecstatic. So ecstatic, he's basically taken another pop at the Lukaku haters, whether they're United fans or more likely non-United fans. Now, in relation to the Romelu Lukaku ban, I've got to plead ignorance on this. I really hadn't seen it on Saturday, and then it was big news today, as many people will have been aware, and a lot of people were expecting a 3-match ban for Lukaku. Having seen what he did, I actually thought there is no way the anti-United press and FA are going to refuse an opportunity to give him a ban for that. I mean, he literally, the ball's not there, and he sort of very camply kicked out backwards twice like a horse trying to scratch its bottom, but typically he missed. Lukaku missed twice, and what's new there, some might say. So, but basically 3 referees were asked about it, would they have sent him off for it, and they all said no. So, you know, the best bit about it really is that some would say he's already served the 3-match ban. He's already missed 3 games for United. But in all seriousness, I'm very happy that he isn't going to be missing. I think he's a really important player for United, which I'll talk about in a minute. But the best bit of it was the people like, you know, bitter scousers like Joey Barton saying that, oh, you know, he should have been banned. It's not like he glassed anyone, Joey. And then you've got loads of scousers, loads of Newcastle fans. For some reason, when I was looking on Twitter today, trying to find all the bitter, and there was plenty of bitter Liverpool, City, Arsenal fans. Oh, the bias against United continues. I don't know where they've been for the last 20 years. Well, I do, not winning titles, but they were very upset about it. But the biggest ones of the lot, the funniest ones of the lot, were Newcastle fans. There was loads of Newcastle fans going, oh, if it was Shelvey or Mitrovic, they'd be all over us. I was like, Newcastle? Nobody cares about Newcastle except for Geordies. Shut up, sit down, you're irrelevant. So they were the funniest of the lot. But what did Jose Mourinho have to say on it? And look, you know what? I'm going to read this statement from Mourinho speaking about Lukaku and his attitude. And he says, people like Romelu Lukaku playing on the right, on the left, chasing defenders, the midfield players chasing the space in the middle. I'm happy with his attitude. In the last minute, Lukaku was fighting and running back like he was in the first minute. The way Romelu wins the corner for the goal, the way he ended the game, making tackles in left-back positions. Yeah, Jose, he was tackling left-back positions because his first touch had lost it 40 yards further up the pitch, but I'll stick with you. That's the mentality I want. And unfortunately, not every player is the same. Digging out players again. He tries to be clever. Jose, you're trying to be clever with geniuses. Manchester United fans are already geniuses by the fact that we support Manchester United. Don't try to be subtle and clever. We can read exactly what you're saying. Some players in that team aren't trying hard enough. Players are men. Men are different. Men are unique cases, and some guys are capable of going into their limits of effort, and some others guys, even with a lot of talent, they don't manage to do that. Digging out Martial again. So Romelu, for me, was fantastic. He didn't score, but I don't care. And that's Jose Mourinho's thoughts on him. I mean, to be honest with you, great, brilliant, absolutely superb. I love it. I love his backing of Lukaku because I think he really does need it. But what I don't like is playing him at left back, playing him on the wing. Into winger. He's a number 9, and in fact, if you play him anywhere else, he's Vauxhall Conference standard. He really isn't good enough to play left wing, right wing, number 10, left back, whatever. I'm sure. And I don't like Jose's obsession with effort. I know this divides opinion, but that tends to be what the United Stand is about sometimes. And it caused a bit of an issue the other day when I said it. But to be honest with you, effort is not something I really want to applaud at United. Simply because every player who puts a United shirt on should have effort. So it shouldn't really be something that we go, oh, look at Fellaini's effort. Oh, look at Lukaku's effort. For me, it's irrelevant because every United player should have effort. What we should be doing is saying, oh, look at Tony Martial and his brilliant skills. That's what a United player is. I don't want to fall into this trap of, oh, look at his effort. Oh, look at Lukaku's effort. Brilliant. Nah. I mean, Rooney's effort was great when he used to track back to left back because he was a world-class footballer. I don't want to talk about effort because I think every player in a United shirt should have effort. However, in defence of Mourinho, the problem is not every player is putting that effort in because that squad's not good enough. And eventually, Mourinho needs to get to the position where he's got 11 talented players who put effort in. And that, I think, is the problem United have. But just to before we start taking calls as well, there was a Twitter poll. Well, we've done it. Let me tell you the one I looked at. I looked at a Twitter poll earlier on. And it was basically who should start against Watford tomorrow. Can't wait. I can't wait. Tell you what, we're getting close to Christmas, but there's some cracking weeks of midweek football ahead. And tomorrow night, can't wait. Join us for the watch along. I am so excited about it. I can't tell you what the result's going to be, but I just think it's so brilliant. Anyway, how many people want Zlatan to start, Lukaku to start, or both? So 56% wanted Zlatan to start, I think about 20% wanted Lukaku, which means 30% wanted both. However, on the United stand one we did half an hour ago, 26% wanted Zlatan, 37% Lukaku, 37% both. I don't know where the 37% both are coming from, unless they're thinking about playing Zlatan in behind Lukaku, because we can't play a front two against Watford. We will get killed. But I think United stand again. I think it was a Metro poll where 60% wanted Zlatan to start and 20% wanted Lukaku. The other way round with the United stand poll, you get proper quality United support on the United stand. People who've got a brain, not Metro readers. So, of course, Lukaku's got to start tomorrow. You know, we know he's not scored goals. I know his talent is, you know, he's not playing that well at the moment. But Lukaku every day of the week, simply because he's got pace and power. Do you want to go back to slow days of Zlatan up front, is what I would say. Thanks everyone who's watching tonight. It is Monday Night Live. Remember to drop a like on the video. We are going to be taking your calls in Uno Memento. But look, yeah, exactly. Lukaku is the future of Manchester United. And what I would say about Lukaku as well is this, is that, you know what? Lukaku, for me, will not be a legend Manchester United striker. That isn't going to happen. I'll tell you that now for free. I would say that in my experience as a United fan over the years, Louis Zaha is probably a better striker than Lukaku. But under no circumstances will Lukaku be a flop. He'll score a lot of goals in a United shirt. Anyway, the link is in the video description for Quiff before we start taking your calls. Quiff is the revolutionary new betting app. Remember, you've got to be over 18 years of age and do bet responsibly. However, Quiff, when you put a bet on, it will enhance your odds. So no matter what your bet is, whether it's 2 to 1, 3 to 1, once you put your bet on and Quiff it, it could go up to 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. So make sure if you are somebody who puts a little bet on for the football, you download the Quiff app. The link is in the video description and get your bet on. I've been doing really well lately. Let me just go to the Premier League games, because obviously I'm not going to give you a bet that's nothing to do with Manchester United. It's a Premier League live. I was quite surprised. I mean, this is something we always try to do on the previews anyway. Watford versus Manchester United. I thought, you know, you're going to get decent odds, because United have got to win tomorrow. Let's remember, it's not about will we win. We've got to win. So therefore, there's value in the bet that we've got to win. Any other result is not comprehensible. But full-time result, Manchester United is only 1.55, which away from home against a decent Watford team is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. A tenner only gets you £5.50. And at Watford to win, you can get 4.6. So a tenner gets you 46 quid. The value bet is to bet on a Watford win. They are the form team against us at the moment, and it is totally value bet. However, you're a bloody traitor if you do it. You cannot bet on Watford to win, even though it's the value bet. So I've had to find a bet that is valuable for United, and that is 1.55. I would not be putting that on for United at all. So my value bet for you is both full time and both teams to score, which is down here. And I'm going to go Manchester United and yes. So Manchester United to win and both teams to score, 3.50. So a tenner would win you 35 quid. Or if you think Watford won't score and will win, 2.75, which is a tenner, £27.50. So there's good value in both of those bets. Manchester United to win and both teams to score for me. But if you want to go Manchester United and Watford not to score, so United to win to 0, 2.75. They're quite close together. Really good values in those. Link in the video description. That's what I'm going with, because United, let's be honest, have got to win tomorrow. So Quiff app, link in the video description. Get that downloaded and get your bet on. We've won quite a bit this season, the United stand, with my tips. I'm doing quite well. Trying to just box carefully. So yeah, right. Let's start taking your calls. It is Skype Goldbridge. Vince Chapman's made a contribution. We haven't played a good full 90 minutes under Jose. Interesting, Vince. I wouldn't disagree with you. I wouldn't disagree with you on that one. Mourinho to park the bus tomorrow, says Samuel. Yeah, look, we might park the bus tomorrow. If you've not seen my preview from earlier and you don't know a lot about Watford and why they're a good side, make sure you watch the preview after this. It's only 10 minutes long and it's got the yellow pen and the directions and the formations. Damien says if we don't win tomorrow it will ruin my week. I will go as far, this is an exclusive for the United stand, I will go as far as to say if we don't win the league tomorrow, may as well give it to Manchester City the title. It's done and dusted. You know, City will beat Southampton on Wednesday night, which would put them 11 points ahead of us. It would be over. So anyway, let's take a call. Jared's on the line, one of the first tonight.
What's up,
off the draw. Jared, how you doing, pal?
Good, how you doing?
Yep, really good. What was it you wanted to talk about?
So I want to talk about upcoming games we have.
Okay.
So I think this week is defining week of the season, right? And I think it's interesting because the response to the Brighton game, as much as we didn't play well, I was happy we won. Like 1-0, it was fine. Winning is all that mattered in that game. To me, I think that's obviously what applies to Watford and Arsenal. City's a whole nother ballgame. But I think if Jose can get 9 points from these games, I think it's game on. I think if he gets anything less, I think we're fighting for second. And it's scary to think that our season comes down to 1 week. But I do think our season comes down to 1 week because of what's happened at Stoke and what happened at Huddersfield. I think we set ourselves up for a little bit of a problem. So we got.
I do agree. I'll just jump in for. I know you'll have some other points, but in all fairness, when we have dropped quite a lot of points. Liverpool away, Chelsea away, Huddersfield, Stoke. Yeah, so you can see where the gap is. But I was saying there, I don't know whether you heard it. I think if we lose tomorrow, that, as bad as it sounds to say on the 28th of November, that will be the title gone if we lose tomorrow. So I just feel whatever. However, even if we do park the bus and Fellaini gets a late winner and we play Fellaini, Lingard and all the players we don't really want to play, if we win tomorrow, you know what? I probably won't like the way we win it if we park the bus and it is the players I don't want to play and Martial's back on the bench. But for the longevity of the season, I will take it. I think a draw's no good tomorrow, and it could be a really good 3-3 cracker, but we're not in that position anymore.
Nothing but winning, and I agree. And then here's you get back to that. We always say we want to be the Manchester United of old, and we're getting there. But if you look at Mourinho and what he's done, I mean, this is the team that, like, I could see him wanting Rose, Griezmann, Lukaku, Pogba, Zlatan, Ozil, Bailly. These are his players. When he has a squad of those players, we will challenge City. And we may challenge them this year. I'm just saying they have the team that they want. Mourinho doesn't. So this week, if he has to win the Mourinho way, I'm fine with it. But he has to win. I mean, Mourinho's managerial credentials should allow him to get at least 6 out of 6, and then we'll see what happens with City. But again, big games, and I think as a big manager, you have to come through. I mean, the fans will not be okay with anything less. And I think it sounds unfortunate to say it, but look, Watford, it's a win or go home. The season is not, we're not winning a title if we don't win that game. No question. My opinion.
I agree. I mean, just in relation to the approach to the game and Arsenal as well, a lot of people feel that we will see the parked bus appear. I felt Lingard wasn't dropped at the weekend. He was kept back specifically for this game. Where do you stand on how he lines up for the game tomorrow? I mean, what are your thoughts on Lukaku? Because he's getting a lot of stick from United fans at the moment. Where do you sit on that? Would you be dropping Lukaku? Would you be playing him with Zlatan as well? Are you concerned about Lukaku's form?
Very. But here's the problem. I'm concerned about Lukaku, but this is Lukaku. Like, this is what we bought. Every day when we bought him, as much as we want to be positive fans, we all said the same thing. He has a rock as a first touch. Cannot control the ball. It's all stuff we knew would happen. I think we all saw a different Lukaku for 6 games, and we sat there and were like, could this be a different player? It's not. It's Romelu Lukaku, who unfortunately has a horrible first touch, can score unbelievable goals, will track back like Jose wants, but he's not clinical, and that is what we need up front. And I don't know if it's Martial or Rashford or Zlatan or Griezmann or whoever we're going to take some of the burden off of Lukaku. But until that happens, he's going to be under a magnifying glass that I don't know that he can handle very well, and I don't think Jose can drop him either. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. But I think you have to play him.
Yeah, I'd agree. And a very good question here from Tanesha, which I will throw to you, Jared. He says titles aren't won in November. I disagree. I mean, they shouldn't be won in November, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I think the comment beckons a much bigger problem where people say it's negative to say that the title is being defined now. But the title was defined at Stoke when we draw 2-2. The title was defined when we parked the bus at Liverpool and we were okay with a 1-1 draw. When we draw games we need to win, when we lose or draw to lesser teams, we are not title contenders. And fans, unfortunately, should look at it and say, look, it sucks, but this is progress. And progress doesn't happen overnight, doesn't happen in a day. It takes time. And He's doing whatever he can with the constraints that the board have put on him. I think Mourinho deserves credit. I just don't think I don't think fans of our club really want to wait. And that's something we're going to have to get used to, not Mourinho.
Yeah, it is interesting. So give us your thoughts. What are your predictions for the game tomorrow and Arsenal, Jared, just before you go?
All right, so what do I hope? I hope we have a 1-0 win tomorrow, because I think if we have the game Jose wants, it's a 1-0 win. I absolutely hope we batter Arsenal into the ground. Like, I would love to see like a 4-0, 3-1, but I think Arsenal's going to be tough. I'm going to go with 2-1 at Arsenal. We're going to win, and I'm going to pray for 1-0 at Watford, and I'm going to say we're going to take the 6 points.
Okay.
I hope.
Well, thanks for calling in, Jared. Really, really good call as per usual, and I will speak to you again, no doubt.
Love it. Stay well, Mark. Thank you.
You too, pal. Great call again.
See you.
Ta-da. And just on those people before I take another call, I did say this last night, and I got a little bit of criticism about it. I said any other season, this United side would be looking like title winners. It's just Man City are a little bit lucky, are a very good side, and Pep Guardiola's had an open checkbook to go and get what he wanted to get. And of course, at the moment, with 29 points, we are... Have we got 29 points? Yeah, we've got 29 points. City have got 37 points. They're 8 points clear of us. Let me tell you what I said last night, that any other year we'd be running away with this title. In 2015, this time after 13 games, Leicester had, 28 points. We'd be top of the league with 29. Last season, Chelsea, after 13 games, had, 28 points. Manchester United would be top with 29. So, you know... It is really, really interesting, isn't it? And just out of interest as well, just so we're not just sampling two, let's have a quick look at see if we can have a look at 2014, who was top then. In 2014, did Chelsea win it then? I think Chelsea did win it that. That was Mourinho, and he actually had, we wouldn't be top, we'd be second again, but we'd only be 3 points behind Chelsea, who had 32 points. So, you know, man, you've got to take into account that Manchester City are a juggernaut at the moment. But Paul from the podcast is on. Paul, how you doing, pal?
Yeah, it's me again. How you doing, Mark?
I'm good, thanks. I'm going to chuck a question at you straight away, because I know you're an experienced lad and it won't faze you. Just on Lukaku.
Yes.
I think it's hilarious that he's not got a ban, because it's upset so many rival fans, and we always like doing that. But to be honest, he's back on the radar of United fans. Mourinho coming out defending him again, saying what a great effort levels he's got. I'd rather he's putting the ball in the back of the net, because I think effort should come as standard in a United shirt. But I'm certainly happy. I even saw some United fans before the ban was upheld saying, I hope he is banned, because then he can't play. We'll be better without him, which I found shocking, but it's all about opinion. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Lukaku at the moment, and how important is he?
I'm quite shocked at that. I don't know why anybody would want him banned. He's already number 9 at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I understand Jose praising him for his defensive covering. I think he was praising not just the fact that he made a great tackle, but of his awareness to the situation. Obviously, our left back was out of position, and he took it upon himself to get back in cover, and I think that was what he was appreciative of, and I think we should all be appreciative of that, because anything could have happened had he not made that tackle. But I was just listening to Jared, and I got to say, fantastic call from Jared. Props to Jared. With Lukaku, a little bit of worry, but not too much. Every top striker has a spell where they lose a bit of form. But we know Lukaku. We know he's a 25 goal a season player. Did it with Everton. When our team actually start playing properly, he will do the same. He will come back into the goals. We know this. We know it's Lukaku. It's what he does. He scores goals. Yeah, as Jared quite rightly pointed out, we knew what we were getting with him. We knew that he's got a poor first touch. He's not a footballer, so to speak. You know, he can't, run with the ball and beat players and things like that. He does it now and again, but he gets a bit lucky with his strength. But he's not a skillful footballer. But what he should be doing is just being at the number 9 position, like Zlatan was, waiting for a ball to come in, get above his defender, nod it in. That's what he's there for. On the penalty spot, gets the ball at his feet, rifle it in the net. It's what he did at the beginning of this season. It's what we need him to do for the rest of the season, not keep dropping deep. Give it time, he'll find that scoring form again when the players around him start picking up form as well. Because that's something else that's annoyed me. Players like Rashford, Martial, they all think they're playing at number 10 week in, week out, but they're not. They're not playing. They should be playing. They should be providing more width to our attack, but they're not doing it. Basel, Brighton, they're all playing at number 10. What are you playing at? There was a point when Lingard brought the ball from a wide position back into the centre, passed it out to Martial, who then ran back in the opposite direction, back across the pitch again. I'm thinking, what are you doing? With space down the flanks, loads of space. So once we can sort that out and get the service back into Lukaku, he'll be back amongst the goals.
Yeah, I agree. Tito Flores says, I think Chico Flores used to play for Watford. Maybe it's him. He says, Tito Flores, Mark, are you scared of Watford? Yes. Every time I drive past Watford on the M1, I'm crying. No, seriously, they're a good football team. But no, you know what? Paul is going to have his say in a minute, but my thoughts, when I get, people will know, Liverpool game, Chelsea game, I know we didn't get the results we wanted to. I was more excited about them than three pointers at home to teams like, you know, Newcastle. I'm a sort of fan who wants us to play Arsenal on Saturday, wants us to play City the week after. That's what I live for. That's what, you know, there's no guarantee we're going to win. The Spurs game, I said it before that. So excited about Watford, so excited about Arsenal. Because I don't know what I'm going to get. But I'm that sort of fan. I'd rather play these sort of games than home bankers against teams like, you know, Newcastle. So no, I'm not scared, but I can't offer you definite results. Talking about the game, Paul, big rumours in relation to United training today. Mkhitaryan seems to be heavily involved. The rumour is that he will start tomorrow. What are your thoughts on Mkhitaryan? Should he be starting tomorrow? Do you think that's a wise move?
I desperately want him to rediscover that form. We need that at the moment. So I'm all for putting him back in again. Look, he had some bad games. We all called for him to be dropped. He was dropped. He missed a couple of games. But when you drop a player, you don't drop them for the rest of the season. You know, you drop them to say, you know, you're not undroppable. You can be put out for a couple of games. But if he's doing it in training now, if he's getting his head down, and Jose thinks, okay, right, you know, he knows he's not undroppable. You know, there's been a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? A bit of a reputation in United in recent years of players that are undroppable. Name no names, but Mourinho has sorted that. You know, and within a season, that undroppable person has now left the club. I think players now know that they're not undroppable. Mkhitaryan's one of them. I think put him back in. If he's doing it in training, put him back in. And you never know, we might see a rejuvenated Mkhitaryan.
I hope so. Thanks for calling in, Paul. I nearly called you Ross again. If anyone's old enough, they'll know I have this problem. Tell everyone about the podcast, because Paul does the podcast and some great work on the UnitedStand.com if you've not been on it. In fact, somebody was on about, have we got a forum on there? I don't know whether we still have, but we might be able to reignite it. But tell them about the podcast.
With regards to the forum, we do have one on there, but it's not very active. It's not very active, so I don't think we're going to keep it on there. There's too many United forums out there at the moment. I think it was just something we put on there to see how it'd go, but it hasn't really taken off, which is fine. We'll just remove it. There's plenty of United forums out there. But yeah, podcast. It's called Talking Manchester United by the United Stand. Just search either United Stand or Talking Manchester United in your podcast app, and you'll find us. Subscribe. Weekly content. It's great. It's a good laugh. Myself and Dash Burns. So yeah, get subscribing.
Cheers, Paul. Thanks for calling again, and I'll speak to you soon.
No worries. Take care.
You too, pal. The good call. I'm just going to grab a call while I take this. Well, no, I'll take a call. Keep calling. I just want to read this out. Michael Scope, and also, can I just say, 318 likes, not enough. Come on, it's the Skype show. Back the United Stand community. It's the one show of the week where, apart from the watch along, where we try to get 1,000 likes before kickoff because it's superstition, but really want to get 1,000 likes on this show tonight, because the Skype show is about you. It's your show. We started it as a pilot. 8 months ago, and now it's a regular show every Monday, and we try and do more of them because it's my favourite, you lot calling in. So drop a like and support everybody. Michael Scofield in the live comments though says, as much as I like Zlatan, his last 2 sub appearances, it's clear his work rate and speed would be a problem. Not to mention that Jose chooses to play Lukaku at right wing when he comes on. I think he's basically saying it is a problem with Zlatan, and to be honest with you, I would sort of agree that it isn't really. Zlatan has come back from a bad injury, and we need him to obviously get back to form, and it's going to take him time to do that. But what I don't like is what's happening with him in relation to the lack of pace. Patrick, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello, are you all right?
Hello.
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 Can you hear me? Right. Try again, Patrick. You clearly couldn't hear me. I could hear you. All right. Okay. Let's take another call. Try Conrad. Can you hear me? Have I hit him? Yeah. Not literally. Hello. Can you hear me? Oh. Looks like we're having a problem with Skype again at the moment. Keep Skyping in. I'll take some of the live comments. Not a problem. Lukaku is a power player. One of the first Skype callers was none other than Sandra, says George Kyle. No, we weren't. I don't remember anybody hating on Pogba when he wasn't performing, actually. So whoever, you've whizzed by now, so you won't get scrutinised. But if you were trying to do a little bit of one-upmanship about people who are sort of having a go at Lukaku now, I bet you did the same with Pogba. I don't actually remember anybody picking on Pogba at all last season. Not really. A lot of non-United fans did, but I don't remember many Manchester United fans did. Come on, get Skyping. I want to take another call. Zlatan should be 10, not lead the line or force Lukaku out wide, says Andrew K. Totally agree with that, Andrew. Really good point. Marcus says, hello, Mark. Can you hear me? Right, we've got a few more callers now. Let's see if we can grab somebody and get them on show. Here we go. This one should work. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Mark.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Hey, you alright?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I just wanted to talk to you guys about the game on Saturday, which, to be honest, it was all hyped up that we were going to be going all out against Brighton. But I've got to say, even after travelling to United and meeting up with friends and then going to see the game, 5 minutes into kicking off, I was just astonished at how not so aggressive we were. Brighton were pretty much there for the taking, but it seemed as though every time either Pogba or even Matic or someone got the ball, we started slowly playing out of defence, but when it got into that stage of attack, they just stopped. Like even Ashley Young at times was running up the wing, but then as soon as the left back or the right back came up to him, he just couldn't get past them, and we're going, come on, attack, attack. But the ball was being played way too slowly, and I can understand that Brighton, they put loads of players behind the ball, so then they got 10 players behind the ball. But isn't this why we bought Lukaku in for these type of situations, where he can just bully the defenders and just get in the clinical goals? And I can understand the comment you read out earlier about Zlatan, where Lukaku gets put out onto the wing when Zlatan comes on. Now, I was under the impression that Lukaku would still be the number 9, and Zlatan, being the number 10 he is, would just be playing behind him in a 4-2-3-1. Only Zlatan would be a little bit more of a centre forward, and Lukaku would be the striker.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do think that Mourinho, he is playing a little bit of favouritism towards Zlatan in a way, because let's face it, Lukaku, he does have pace, but that's not what he was meant to be there for. He was meant to be that out-and-out striker to score the goals. And I wouldn't mind if we played Zlatan and Lukaku in a 2, like we changed the formation so we have them 2 up top, which would destroy, I believe, any defence.
I think it's... sorry to interject, but I think... I remember in the summer somebody saying that Zlatan staying is not a good thing and we'll pay the price for it. And I think it's too early to say that. But what I would say is that that the one thing that sort of sticks in my mind from that statement is that Zlatan comes into the team, and 2 games in a row that Zlatan's come on, we've seen Lukaku playing as a winger. And Lukaku is nothing. He is nothing but a number 9. He's not a number 10. He's not a winger. He's not a midfielder. In fact, he's awful in all of those positions. His value is a number 9, and he either plays as a number 9 or he comes off the pitch. My concern about Zlatan is, and it could just be lack of match sharpness, is that he's wearing the number 10 shirt. That is the only position he should play as well, because he's not got the pace to play as a number 9 anymore. But what I saw in the little glimpses I've seen, and I don't know whether you saw it at the game, is that your number 10's got to track back. And we saw at the weekend that actually Lukaku was tracking back more than Zlatan, which means Zlatan wants to play number 10, but he wants to do the tracking back of a number 9, and that isn't going to work.
Oh yeah, definitely. Where we could see that Lukaku was running all the way back because he had the pace, and let's face it, Zlatan doesn't. He was more or less doing what he was doing last season, just holding back, trying to be the last man before the 4 or 5 Brighton defenders and just get the ball woofed up, and he'd go the rest of the way. But I think this does just show that Lukaku being forced out to the wing, it definitely proves that Mourinho is missing that 4th signing he's been wanting in the summer.
Yeah.
Now I can understand Ivan Perisic, 28 years old, £50 million, way too expensive. Now, I know there's all that talk about, Griezmann may come in January. I don't think it's going to happen. Even though we could release him from his release clause, £88 million, he would be he'd be more motivated to play Champions League if Atletico Madrid do end up in the Europa League. So that being said, yes, he could play the Premier League games, but I don't think it's something we'd risk with Griezmann. I'd rather we buy him in the summer, have the whole pre-season to get him working to the squad. Because let's face it, this team that Mourinho's building is all around Paul Pogba. That's why he's brought in the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, because he knows Pogba's got the good long balls. He brought in Eric Bailly, who does speak a little bit of French. Griezmann potentially, and Lukaku, he already knows him as a friend. So if anything, I'm sure Mourinho is thinking about that even in January. What winger can I bring in? Although that being said, we must take advantage of that Paris Saint-Germain situation where Mbappe, he's only been loaned to PSG, and because they've spent so much on Neymar, that they're probably thinking, right, we need to offload players. Now, whether that be, we do end up losing Fellaini in the summer, but we bring in Adrien Rabiot, who's a lot younger than Fellaini, around the same height, strength, so that could be his potential replacement, or even bringing in someone like, I don't know, Julian Draxler, Lucas Moura, anyone like that from PSG. And I'm sure if we offered up good money, PSG would be definitely thinking of that Mbappe deal in the future. So I reckon, Mark, that's something we definitely need to take into account. So I'm just hoping that these next few games, tomorrow and Arsenal, are just going to be plain sailing. I'm hoping so anyway, but I definitely want a better performance than what I saw on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I hope you agree with that as well, that we definitely need to be more aggressive. And even though that we may be wanting to probably just go for the 1-0s, I mean, the next few games, we've got to be definitely going for those 3-4-0s, because Mourinho's reputation will be on the line, I reckon, especially if we want to attract players in January.
I do agree on that. I mean, it's a bigger picture, and we've sort of touched on it, and you're right. If I already know, as a Mourinho fan, if he doesn't win the next couple of games, they're going to come out. The press, those fans who aren't sure about him, and it's going to get nasty. And I don't want to go down that route again. Even if I was against Mourinho, I still would be hoping he was going to do the job. I would rather, if you're Mourinho out, any part of you, the best way for Mourinho to go for Manchester United is if he just gets fed up and leaves PSG and walks away, but we're still successful. If it goes wrong, I don't know where we go from there. That'll be 3 failed managers. But really good call, Courtney. Thanks for calling in. A great debut call as well.
Well, actually, this is my 3rd time. I just haven't called you in a while. That's
all right.
Sorry about that.
There's so many calls, it sounds like a debut to me. But cheers for calling anyway.
No problem at all. And I'd give Mourinho 2 at least after January. Then we'll be the judge of his character, okay?
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, pal.
Good evening, mate. Bye.
Ta-da. Really, really good call. Remember, drop a like on the video. We've had some cracking calls again tonight, so drop a like and support the show. Just interesting, before I take the next call, this is what was supposed hot off the press. Not a lot of people might have read this because it was sort of lost in an article. But Mourinho said, a lot of people say an excellent call because it was. Drop a like on the video. Remember, support your fellow United standers. And if you are new, subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, hologram. Mourinho... talking about Lukaku a little bit and how Pogba and Matic didn't really get hold of the midfield. But he said Rashford and Martial lack the tactical intelligence to press from the flank and cause people problems. So will both start? Will one start? I think Martial's going to be back on the bench tomorrow, but he's never shy about taking a pot at them, is he? Never shy at taking a pot at them, but will never take a pot at certain other players. Really weird. Really weird. Martin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes.
How you doing, pal?
I'm fine, thank you. A couple of points. First of all, with the Lukaku thing, I am glad he's escaped the bad. I think it's about time we reduce some luck before these opposition fans talk about bias. Two things I need to point out. One, if you think back to, I can't remember when it was, but Rooney and Scholes got red cards at the Amsterdam tournament. FA gave them 3 match bans. A year later, Gerrard got sent off in the same tournament. FA said, we've not got the power to intervene. It's pre-season. Even worse, if you think back to the day Rooney got sent off in 2011 against West Ham for swearing, same day, Peter Crouch was caught swearing that he'd given the V sign to fans, wasn't banned. So I think it's swings and roundabouts, and we're due a bit of luck with when it comes to the FA and bans.
Yeah, I thought he would get a ban, to be honest. I was very surprised we got away with it.
Yeah. Again, this is all academic, but the thing you think about is the 2011 one. 2011 with Rooney, he missed a semi-final. Had Rooney not been banned and we'd beaten City that day, would City still be where they are now? I don't think so. I think had we beaten them that day, they'd still be waiting for their first trophy since '76, and they wouldn't have signed all the players have done since then.
Interesting, yeah.
And of course, just coincidence. Who was the head of the FA when that decision was made to ban Rooney?
Yeah,
former City chairman David Bernstein.
Yeah, I remember it well. We've had some bad. We've had bad. That's why I thought Lukaku would get banned today, because the FA have dealt us out some bad cards over the years.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Obviously, I think Match of the Day have come out and said they didn't talk about it because they didn't see it, which is a bit surprising, because I think at the moment Match of the Day could be looking for new hosts soon, because I've heard that Alan Shearer's had to go into hospital. It's the only way they could remove his lips from Pep's backside.
Good one. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Martin?
I think the other thing is again with the media. I think with the performance on Saturday. Yes, it wasn't great. We won in the end, but I think again it's the bias in the media. Had any other team had Chelsea played like that, let's say City played like that, you'd have been reading about backs to the wall performances like that wins titles, getting the 3 points when you weren't playing well. But obviously, United, it was put down as a bad performance against a team we should have been getting more against. But you can't. There's no the days of dead rubbers in the Premiership's long gone. There's that much importance in staying up. There's that much money between a place that I think all teams are going to be fighting for everything. So there's no sort of home bankers anymore.
No, I agree. And to be honest with you, obviously I think there was a lot of disappointment at the weekend, and United should set the bar high, and there's nothing wrong with being disappointed with that result. But I do agree with Jose. I thought Brighton, very, very, very impressive. And also, I thought Huddersfield against Man City, very impressive. 2 really good managers against teams that have got a lot of money, a lot of status, and to be fair, with the resources they had, both clubs were fantastic against us. So, and I found that quite refreshing, because I actually disagree with you. I think this season, apart from the top 5, a lot of the teams have not really been that good. Even against us, we've thrashed a lot of teams 4-0. But I thought Brighton and Huddersfield redressed that balance this weekend. They were very impressive tactically, and both deserved something from both games.
Yeah, I think we go back to the Huddersfield. I think the other thing it just shows sometimes you need a bit of luck, because I think City got a 50-50 penalty. I think I can't remember if it was 1-0 or 0-0 at the time at Huddersfield. We should have had a penalty if that been given. It could have been a different result. So I think sometimes you do need a little bit of luck as well.
Yeah, I think it was on Herrera, wasn't it? And it was 1-0 to Huddersfield at the time.
It was 1-0 too.
Yeah, but that was before. We still got a goal in the second half, and we were terrible. We only lost that 2-1, and we were terrible.
Yes. Yeah.
Great call, Martin, as ever.
No,
really enjoyed it, and I love the facts. I love the way you can go back and delve into the history and give us some actual facts behind it. So really appreciate that.
No worries, cheers, pal. Thank you.
Thank you. Really good calls tonight. Really enjoyed it. So please do drop a like on the video for everyone who's called in so far this evening, because it has been fantastic. And to be honest with you, it's not a surprise to me anymore, because we do, like I said, we started the Skype show about 6 months ago, and it's new and people come on a little bit nervous, but I think for weeks and weeks it's been consistently great calls, and really enjoy it, because you never know what people are going to talk about. And even Martin at the end there with the stats about, I do remember that one, very interesting, when Rooney got banned, and I think it cost us, but there we go. Just a reminder for those people who have joined us a little bit late, the link in the video description is for the Quiff app. Download it. It's free to download. It's on Apple and Android. It's nothing to do with my Quiff hair. It is an app that basically, when you put a bet on, you get quiffed. And you don't end up with a Mark Goldbridge haircut, like I say. Your bet, if you put it on at 2-1, could go up to 3-1, 4-1. Basically, it's a booster on your bet odds. It's revelationary. Remember, over 18, you've got to be, and do gamble responsibly. But we only really promote it for United games, and this is my tip of the week. So once you've downloaded the app, you need to go to Premier League games in football, and as I was saying before, Watford versus Manchester United. Full-time result. You can't get great odds. 1.55 for United to win away from home against Watford's terrible. 4.6 for Watford to win is massive. And it's the value bet, but we don't do that. Well, if you're a bit sadistic and you think you're happy to put a bet on Watford to win because it'll be a cushioner of the blow if we don't win. But for me, the value United bet is full-time and both teams to score. And I'm going to go Manchester United and yes at 3.5. So put a tenner on that. It's 35 quid back, but you'll get more than that because you will get that bet enhanced on Quiff. Could get as much as 40, 50 quid on that bet. Or if you think Watford won't score and De Gea will get another clean sheet but will win, 2.75. So you're going to get yourself at least 30 quid back from a £10 bet on that. Link in the video description. Download it, Quiff, and get your bet on with them. Let's have a quick look on the live comments. 1-0 to United, says Jonathan Royston Ford. We've hit over 500 likes, which is fantastic. Look, it's really, really important that you like the video on the Monday night Skype show, because what makes United Stand what it is the community, is you. So supporting each other is fantastic. And if you are new to the United Stand, make sure you subscribe. Just got to remind you, tomorrow night we're playing Watford, if you didn't realise. If you've been in a cave with Liverpool fans singing 5 times around a campfire, we are playing Watford tomorrow, and it's a massive game. It's season defining, and then if we beat them, which is going to be tough, we've got the same thing against Arsenal at the weekend. So massive week ahead for United, then City after that. But realistically, if we lose tomorrow, the Arsenal game becomes less significant, and it's just about damage limitation, really, because I think the title's gone if we don't win tomorrow. We've got to win. So you can join us tomorrow. I think it's an 8 o'clock kickoff, isn't it? So maybe 7:45. We will be live at 7:45 with the team news, which I think is going to be really interesting. Will Mkhitaryan start? Very, very excited. Really excited about it. Can't wait. And let's hope there's no disappointment. It's going to be very, very tough. Watford under Silva are a very good team. In fact, I know I put it up at 1 o'clock today, so many people might not have seen it. I would urge you, click the United Stand logo, or if it's in your suggested videos, click and watch Manchester United Watford preview that I did before. I've got the yellow pen, I've got the Watford lineup, the United lineup, and you'll learn a lot about why Watford are good and where they hurt teams. And you might be quite surprised about how United can stop it, how City stopped it. In fairness to Pep, he did a very, very clever thing, which you wouldn't have been aware unless you'd watched the game. But watch the preview, you'll learn all about Watford and how United need to win it, and why I think Lingard and Fellaini, although they will start, are exactly the wrong sort of players to play because of Watford's strengths. Zlatan will start over Lukaku. says Dees TV. Thanks for that, pal. Thanks everyone for watching tonight. Really, really enjoyed it. Love the Skype show on a Monday night. We're back tomorrow night at 6:45 with the team news and the watch along. Probably our biggest game of the season. Absolutely massive. Can't wait for it. Speak to you all soon. Thanks for all the callers. You've been brilliant. Drop a like on the video for them. And thanks to the live comments as usual. We can't do the show. We can't do the show. Angadar, Ray, Mark, you never read my comments. I just did. Speak to you all very soon.